Hello and welcome to the new video. Today we're gonna take a look at both the second part of the Halloween event, but also all the new shadow Pokemon that are coming, and there are a lot of coming. Definitely check that part out as well. We're gonna start immediately here with the Halloween part 2 event, which is going to happen now afterwards, basically after the next week of the first part of it. But here we're gonna see now, October 26th going to start at 10 AM local time, going to have a little bit more to come, basically compared to what we had in the first week, which is actually going to start tomorrow, so definitely have fun playing the first week. But as you're going to see here right now, we're gonna get Pikachu wearing some new costume for like those people that are interested in this one. I always don't like when you cannot evolve them. I always like when you can evolve them. For example, Vulpix that can evolve was part of the last one. And basically the missing spawns from the first event, which I find kinda awkward or like not really nice that they didn't put them in, are now in here at least. For example, Sableye or Jamask, which is kinda nice, so you're gonna be able to encounter those Pokemon. But also, again, still Phantom, but also Zorua are going to be shiny, which is cool. Like, Zorua shinies in general, very, very nice. We're gonna see here, Gengar has a new costume as well, which you can find in the wild, which I like. I always like when you have, like, some kind of evolutions or something in the wild. I always find this kind of nice. We have a timed research here coming up, which is going to be available during this event, again, which is going to allow you to encounter something like a Zorua, Phantom, and some costume Pokemon. We're going to have the event bonuses, which I think are the exact same as we're going to have in the first week as well. We have the raids, where we're going to be able to encounter Gengar. That's most likely the way to get the shiny, mainly for most people. We have Darkrai available. Nothing too crazy, but for the field research, I guess a lot of, like, maybe they found the feedback that we gave them, that Greavard was, like, basically locked behind raids. Now it's going to be an encounter task, or, like, encounter test for, like, field research. I bet it's going to be behind raids again, because that's how Niantic kind of functions. But again, this is honestly, I don't know, like, I don't really think that this event is too crazy. Again, it's kind of what you always have for this kind of stuff. But, let me know what you think about this Halloween event. I don't know, like, I find it kind of underwhelming. You released, basically, I mean, you released 2 shinies, and you released a Pokemon that you gave a horrible moveset, which could have been very decent. So, that's kind of it for me. I don't know, not really too excited for this one, but what I'm excited for, which is really great, is going to be the Sinister Shadows, Team Go Rocket raid takeover here, which is going to be really cool. As you're gonna get Shadow Regigigas, which I also spoiled before. We have the Shadow Lugia in raids, which is going to be amazing for a lot of people, as well as the shiny debut for this Pokemon. Plus, we're gonna get, I think, 7 new Shadow Pokemon, which you're gonna take a look at for PvP as well afterwards. First off, we're going to be able to save Regigigas. We're gonna get another research from Giovanni, where you can get the Super Rocket Raider, and yeah, basically standard stuff that we always have when we have like those kind of events, where we can get another Raider to encounter Giovanni and get this Pokemon from them. Cool thing about this one though is this is going to make Regigigas, or like Shadow Regigigas, available for the Great League, which definitely is something that I will try out. So I'm excited for this one. Definitely interesting there, starting again on October 26th from 10 AM. Sadly, it's 10 AM. They like used to do it that they'd start at midnight, which I always liked a little bit more, but now it's 10 AM local time, which is fine, I guess, but I always liked when it started at midnight. I don't know, it's kind of cool in my opinion. Shadow raids, we're going to see some shadow raids, but only from Saturday till Sunday. It's so like basically a raid weekend, which was also leaked before already. It was leaked for the wrong dates, but yeah, Shadow Lugia is coming into raids here as a shiny, which is going to be also cool. Also means that most likely the next one going to be Ho-Oh as a shiny, as a shadow Pokemon in raids, which is really cool. But Shadow Lugia, definitely something that you kind of want to get, I guess. Honestly, it's not too great anymore either. The issue with this Pokemon is it's insanely difficult to take down, so like you need a lot of people, so it's going to be a little bit awkward. And here we're gonna go to the very interesting part. We're gonna get Shadow Ghastly, which is going to be a cool one, but also just look at the sprite already. Like, look at him. He just has the reddest eyes of them all. Literally the most stoned Pokemon of them all. We're gonna have Shadow Raion, which is going to be really cool. Shadow Raion here going to be a very good Pokemon after they gave a buff this season as well. We have Shadow Barboach, which is also going to be very decent, as it also got a buff, I think, the season prior with Mud Bomb being buffed. We have Shadow Cranidos, which is going to be mainly viable as one of the best rock-type raid attackers. We're going to have Shadow Shieldon, which we can take a look if this is going to be better than normal Shieldon, or like Bastiodon, which you of course know from the Go Battle League. We're going to have Shadow Drillbur, which is going to be also an interesting Pokemon. Also, I think for raids, maybe it also has some play. It's definitely a very attack-rated Pokemon, very decent for the Master League. And then we're going to have Shadow Litwick, which is going to be maybe also a little bit better, but we're going to take a look at this a little bit later. Let's take a look at the Shadow raids first. Next, we're gonna get the Ghastly there. Grimar's going to be the only one that can be shiny at this point. Shadow Misdreavus, I really wish that they would give Misdreavus something special or something like for once, because this Pokemon is like so bad and it's like one of the earliest released Pokemon. I don't know. Kinda wish that you're gonna get some love for Misdreavus as well. Shadow Litwick rates, kinda okay, I guess. In 3-star rates, we're gonna have Shadow Nidorina, Shadow Nidorino, as well as Golbat. Golbat, one of the coolest Pokemon for Great League right now as well. Very underrated, very good flying type Pokemon. Event bonuses. Team Go Rocket will appear more often at Pokestops and in balloons. Usually it's around every 3 hours, I think, for a balloon then. But we also had some, definitely some events where it was every 2 hours, which was kind of nice. I think even one event where it was every hour. But we will see what it's actually going to be, most likely every 3 hours. And you're going to be able to remove frustration from your Pokemon by using a charge TM on them. So for those people that still need to get rid of some frustration here, going to be the event for you. X going to be a Larvitar, Sandile, Pawniard, the Volibee, Dano, Pencham, as well as the Salandit. I don't think anything changed here, but I feel like they're kind of okay anyway. And now we can move on and take a look at all the Shadow Pokemon. First off, we're going to start with Haunter as well as Gengar. Just split them up based on family. Here, they're both kind of viable for the Great League. And as you're going to see here right now, Haunter has a better moveset at this point. Like, Haunter has Ice Punch, which is really nice in the current meta. As you're going to have the Gligar, and as you're going to see here as well, you're going to be able to beat more Pokemon as a Shadow variant, as a Haunter. And let's take a look here real quick at the 2-shield scenario as well, which is going to show you as well here that you're going to definitely have some more wins as well as a Haunter against Swampert. You can actually get farmed down most likely in the 2-shield, which is kind of funny. But otherwise, you're going to be able to beat Mantine, you're going to be able to beat Quagsire a little bit easier, and even as a Gengar, you're going to see you're going to get some wins. This is a thing that you kind of want to have as a Shadow Pokemon. You kind of want to have a fast move that does a lot of damage, but also generates energy fairly fast, and you want to have a charge move, at least one charge move, that's going to be very decent as a bait. And both of those Pokemon qualify for this one because they have Shadow Claw, does a ton of damage, so if you are already an attack-weighted Pokemon that is Shadow, then you're going to do it so much damage with this, like any kind of Pokemon that doesn't resist Shadow Claw. But also, you're going to have a great bait move, especially on the Haunter as well, with Ice Punch, but also a Shadow Punch, so you're going to get fast to your charge moves. So the fast move damage plus the fast charge move you're going to get to is just so cool as a Shadow Pokemon with high attack. So those Pokemon are going to be most likely the most interesting ones of them all. I can't wait to try them out. Then we're going to take a look at Whiscash here. Whiscash is going to be also an interesting Pokemon as it got buffed with a Mud Bomb here. Mud Bomb doing more damage now since I think last season. And as you're going to see here, we're going to be able to see that they are going to be better, definitely better. Like, you're going to do more damage with the Mud Bomb. I recently played in the cheapest team video, also Whiscash, and I have to say that a lot of times we were missing out at Chaos League by a few HP only, and I feel like this kind of fixes the issue for this Pokemon. Here you have more of a bulky Pokemon, but you still have a very fast charge move to get to, which does a lot of damage. So this is definitely going to be an upgrade for Whiscash as well, as you can move on to Rhyperior. Here, of course, you're going to take a look at the Master League variant of this Pokemon. Having Mud Slap, Breaking Swipe, and Rock Wrecker is a really cool moveset, and now being Shadow, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's going to really help this Pokemon out too much. It would have been cool if you could have just farmed down the Dialga without having to like use any shield extra, but as you can see here, this is now the Shadow variant. We're going to see, yeah, it's still kind of like you're always going to win the one-shield scenario. It's going to be a worse matchup as well. I don't feel like this is going to help you out at all, so most likely more of a Spice pick, but I like this kind of Spice pick, so I would definitely build one if I get a good one. Rampardos, we don't really have to talk about it too much. It's garbage for any kind of league, for Go Battle League. It was never really viable. Also kind of because of the moveset, and yeah, I wish that there would be like a better fast move for Rock-type Pokemon, but anybody who cares about raids, this is the Pokemon you want to get to, because this is going to do so much damage on raids. It's going to be one of the best, if not the best raid attacker for the Rock-typing. And now we're going to go for the dicey one. And this basically, it kind of qualifies, but it doesn't qualify quite yet. It's going to be Bastion here. The thing is, yes, you're going to have a fast move that's going to do a lot of damage, but also you're going to have charge moves that take quite a long time. And as you're going to see here, the difference is not going to be too crazy, mainly because you're going to have very polarizing matchups with your Bastiodon. Basically, what this means, there are matchups that you're definitely going to win all the time, there are matchups that you're definitely going to lose all the time, and there's not a lot in between. Like, Shadow stuff like this can only really change those in-between encounters. For example, here Sableye or Jellicent, those are kind of those in-between encounters, there are not a lot of them. So, like, it is not really clear if it's going to be better or worse. But for this, I kind of want to take a look at what Shadow actually is doing here. And the Shadow bonus is adding plus 20% on attack and minus 20% on defense. For Pokemon that have a high defense stat, like Bastiodon, this does more harm than it does good in my opinion, because you lose like 20% of 252 is way more that you lose than 20% extra on the 79, basically there, 79 attack there. So you basically lose out on a lot of stats in general. So I would not recommend you to go for the Shadow variant of Bastiodon. It's most likely not going to be better. If I get a good one, you know already who's going to build it just for fun. But yeah, it's most likely not going to be as crazy. And next one going to be Excadrill. Excadrill is a Pokemon. I also already talked a lot about it in a different video, which was also, I think, about the events for November or something. But as we're going to see here, this is going to be an interesting one. It doesn't really change too much for the Master League, to be fair. As you can take a look at the two-shield scenario, we're going to see as well that it's not going to do too much of a difference. The cool thing, though, is that you're going to be able to now win the zero-shield scenario against Dialga, which you wouldn't have done before, as far as I know, because this wouldn't have knocked them out. Usually, at least, wouldn't have knocked them out. You actually still win the zero shield, okay. And usually when you play the Master League, I think maybe because it's not best by Dialga, you're still going to not knock them out with a drill run, and the opponent still gets to a Draco Meteor, which is usually the worst case scenario, because then Dialga wins in a zero shield scenario. So that's kind of more the issue for it, and now definitely going to win this one, but honestly, Excadrill most likely is not worth it as a Shadow Pokemon. Second to last, we're going to have to take a look at Chandelure here. I actually put it into the Great League because I feel like this is going to be the best league for it. And we're gonna see it's going to be slightly better, going to allow you to beat some other Pokemon like Medicham. You're actually going to lose against Serperior. This is a fire type against a grass type Pokemon. You're going to all of a sudden lose against it. But two-shield scenario usually shows a little bit more of the impact here, and as you're going to see, yeah, you're going to be a little bit better off here. If you take a look at the Ultra League, for example, for this Pokemon, this is going to be also an interesting one there, but basically, again, kind of similar to what we had before. If you have a hard-hitting, okay, I didn't want to put Shadow here yet. If you have a hard-hitting Pokemon with a fast move and also with a high attack, which you're going to have with Chandelure, having the Shadow bonus is really cool, and definitely helps out quite a lot in a lot of matchups. Yeah, again, like, this Pokemon itself is just not that great, but, like, it's definitely better if you want to use a Chandelure to use a Shadow one, and most likely looks amazing as well. And then for the Regigigas, this is the issue for this Pokemon. You kind of need any kind of decent, yeah, moves here, like, I don't know. You need a good hidden power, basically, in order for this one to be better. You need a better fast move on Regigigas, which most likely not going to happen, because Niantic kind of want to showcase the ability of the Regigigas in the main series games, which completely holds it out, which is, I think, slow started called. Yeah. It's not a good Pokemon at all. Like, it's not worth it to get it. If you want to keep your radar and want to use it for something else later on, make sure to claim your research, basically, but stay on page 1. If you go more than stage 1, you're going to not get the next research before you finish this one. So you can keep all the research, as far as I know, if they didn't fix it yet. You can keep all the research for Giovanni if you just, yeah, stay on page 1 of that research. Take it, stay at page 1, and then just move on and not claim the first page, because otherwise you're going to be stuck at page 2 and you're not going to get a new one. But like this, you can basically store infinite of them. Here, this is definitely going to be a very cool event. Definitely focus on Ghastly. I think that's going to be a really cool Pokemon. Barboach going to be very nice. Shieldon going to be a lot of fun. Rhyhorn might be also interesting. So definitely a cool event here. Let me know in the comment section what you think about it. Also subscribe if you haven't already, and I see you then. Bye bye.